Hello, music fans. Welcome to another episode of What's New 2022. I'm talking about 7 albums that were released on November 4th, 2022, in my order of preference, starting with Devin Townsend and his release called Lightwork. And this is his 21st album, I think, if you count all his Devin Townsend project, Devin Townsend band, and Devin Townsend solo projects, but he's also released albums as Strapping Young Lad, and he was on an album with Steve Vai as well, as the singer. And this is different from what he usually does. It's more of, I guess, I might call it like an art rock album. It's got some metal, some pop, and some progressive influences all thrown in there. It was one of my most anticipated releases for this quarter of 2022, along with He Is Legend and King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And I still think Devin Townsend is one of the best singers in the rock and metal world today. I love how he's such a shapeshifter when it comes to styles. This album is one of his most accessible. It's catchier, poppier. It's a bit less heavy than usual, though there are still a couple heavy moments. It's more towards the straightforward rock side, but there's still some artsiness to it. There's still some weird guitar solos and stuff like that. In the past, he's done everything from extreme metal to progressive rock to ambient meditation music to country. This one's a little bit more focused. The standout tracks on my first listen were Lightworker and Celestial Signals. The album proper contains 10 tracks, but there's also a deluxe edition with a bonus disc called Nightwork, which contains 10 more original songs, and those are all pretty cool too. Second album I'm going to talk about today is by The Offering. It's called Seeing the Elephant. And this is progressive metalcore, kind of djenty sounds here. There's some maybe even deathcore influences, as well as more traditional heavy metal and power metal influences thrown in. It sounds really epic. It's their second album, really well written and performed. Good vocal delivery on here, great guitar solos. Definitely some wild shredding on here. The guitar riffs are typically that djenty style of riffs, like the low chugging, but also there's the high-pitched squealing guitar dive bombs on here. A lot of really cool songs and a good album listen from start to finish. Next, I'm going to talk about an album from a band called Disillusion, and the album's called Ayam. Ayam. I don't know how to pronounce it. But this is progressive metal with more of a melodic death metal influence. And it's the fourth album by this German band, but it's the first that I've heard. The sound here is intense, it's heavy, it's epic, it's progressive. When I heard the single Am Abgrund, I knew I wanted to listen to this whole album. I haven't heard anything else by this band yet, but I look forward to hearing more from them. There's some great screaming and singing on here, great guitar riffs. Some of the moments almost sound like doom metal, as there's some slower, doomier riffs on here mixed in with fast, energetic stuff as well. Fourth album I'm going to talk about from today is Locura. That's the name of the band, and the album's called Distorted Truth. And this is metalcore. It's got some death metal, thrash metal, and hardcore influences. It's their third album, very intense, very heavy, screaming vocals mostly, but some singing as well. Great riffs. Nothing really stood out enough here for me for this to be a contender for my year-end top 40 list, though, but it was still pretty cool. If you like that style of metalcore, you'll probably like this. Fifth, I'm going to talk about Dayseeker and their album Dark Sun. This is post-hardcore with pop influences. It's their fifth album, and the vocals are just really well done here with excellent control, delivery, well-written, catchy melodies and hooks. They're definitely in that emo style of vocals, so you have to like that to enjoy this. I've never really listened to a full album by this band before, but I look forward to hearing more in the future. And if you're looking for something emo, catchy, and beautiful, this could be for you. The standout track for me was called Without Me, and I don't mean the Eminem song. There's a song on here called Without Me. And two more to talk about, but they're not so much full-length albums. Or this one, I'm not sure if it counts as a full-length album. It's by the band The Pretty Reckless, and it's called Other Worlds. It's lengthwise, it is a full-length album. If it counts, it would be their fifth. But it's comprised more of like acoustic recordings and some covers and reimaginings of some of their previous songs, and it's really good. Hard to rank it highly since it's mostly songs from their previous album just done in a different arrangement. But yeah, this is like alternative rock with some pop, acoustic style stuff, a little bit of that grunge, hard rock, and southern rock influence thrown in there too. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of the band The Pretty Reckless. And lastly, I'll talk about an EP from the band Voivod. The EP is called Ultraman. This is kind of thrash metal, I guess, maybe a little progressive thrash metal, some alternative and avant-garde influences. This is very strange because it's the theme song from the Ultraman TV series. I'm not familiar with the TV series, but it's kind of cool to hear them singing in Japanese on the opening track. I think that was odd and interesting to hear from a French-Canadian band. There's a couple bonus live cuts on here as well, so it's not really essential listening, but it was still a fun listen just to hear like a progressive thrash metal band doing a TV show's theme song and then just a couple live tracks. So it's more of an EP if you're a fan of Voivod and you want to know their complete catalog. I think this would be something you should check out. And that's it for today. Until next time, peace out.